the fact that we're still on Warner's is really kind of an achievement and pretty surprising. So I guess I got to give them credit. They've kept us around. Knock on wood.
You just started your own record label. You ever see Bungle?
We'll see. I don't know. It could definitely survive, but it'd be a whole other way of living. And you know, at this point, we've learned to live on a major label, and you know, we're used to that kind of diet. So I would hate to imagine it any other way. I think that a band like this belongs on a major. I think that I'd like to see our records in stores. You know, that's coming from a guy that you know, I just started an indie and I'm really excited about it. But you know, there's pros and cons to each one, and Bungle, you know, is a pain. Bungle needs a lot of upfront money. Bungle demands a lot, and you know, most indies probably wouldn't be able to give Bungle what it needs. But we'll see, man. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I wouldn't say no, put it that way. It was a bit of a, you know, a challenge. It felt like something new to us. Let's see if we can pull off a record of what is to our ears, you know, as you say, linear or poppy in a way, catchy. Lots of melody, not a lot of, you know, improvising structures versus choruses. It just kind of happened. We get together to write a record, and we all throw our ideas against the wall. And whichever ones happen to stick is kind of the vein that record will take. And that's, you know, we did that this time. And some songs, actual songs, stuck to the wall. And we figured, hey, that's what we better do. That's what we better go with. It was all me, but I think the reason the press picked up so much on it is because there was no other angle for them to grab onto. Meaning, I don't think they really understood the music. They didn't want to talk about the music. You know, so what's the next step? They want to get into the cult of personality thing, which is, you know, hey, who am I to judge? Maybe that is more interesting than goddamn music. So, you know, I think it was just lack of material. I think that stuff looks good in headlines, and I think that's why they picked up on it. It certainly wasn't. I don't think that I helped it much because it was all I wanted to talk about too. I was bored. I was on the road for, you know, 2 years at a time, year and a half at a time. The music side of it ends up getting stale, especially when you're playing the same set over and over and over again, and you're living kind of like a rat. You lose a bit of perspective, and you start talking shit. And people love to hear shit. A friend of someone who books the club we played in L.A. called us and said, hey, I represent these guys, and they'd love to play with you. And I heard Mike was a fan. I was like, oh, my God, are you kidding? You want to do the whole tour? I asked him to do the whole tour, but, you know, there's like 15 of them, and they don't travel so well. And so we got them to do 2 shows, and that was amazing. It was really great. I was kind of nervous at how these fans, you know, can be quite, how can I say it nicely, boneheaded. You know, you get a bunch of people in a room and sweaty and add a little beer to the mix, and, you know, it doesn't exactly make for the highest of IQ levels. I mean, it's a lot of screaming and lowest common denominator, basically. And I didn't know how they would react to a bunch of retarded kids on stage, you know, playing. And so, yeah, I was a little nervous about it, and man, it totally worked. Everybody was like, jaws dropped. People were crying. It was like a really emotional experience because what's coming off the stage is completely 100% real. And that's a pretty precious commodity, I would say. 90% of the bands you see in nightclubs these days, you know, don't have that. And these guys did, and it's pretty deep. Really beautiful thing. They were smoking, man. They were smoking. Totally smoking.